Well, this looked like a stage that was under control the whole way by teams that had sprinters.
There were 5 teams that had a vested interest in keeping this together, so they allowed a break of 5 men to get away, but there were no real threats in that break, and the break never had more than 3 or 4 minutes on the peloton.
Yeah.
So Argos, Shimano, Lotto, Cannondale, Orica Green Edge and Omega Pharma, thank you, were the 5 teams who really were doing quite a lot of work. We can see, though, what's interesting is that the aerial shot of this intermediate sprint, you've got Andre Greipel here, Peter Sagan with Cavendish on his wheel. The reason I chose this bit of footage is because it shows how much they are weaving all over the road, you know, in a sprint at high speed. In this case, it's not dangerous. There's only 3 guys contesting for points, but when they do that, obviously in a finale, it can be very dangerous.
Greipel's won just about every intermediate sprint, right?
Yeah, he's doing a great job,
He's the king of the intermediates. And you'll notice with Greipel, he sets himself, he doesn't have a team helping him for the intermediates. He rides off the other teams, and Sagan had 2 guys still in front of him and he's jumping them. And normally whoever jumps first in the intermediates is going to win them.
Absolutely. So when they basically put the pressure on with just over 30 kilometres to go, we saw Lotto on the front a lot. So there's a team of Belkin here, probably just protecting their 2 guys. But Lotto are really ever present at around 30k to go, with some of the Argos riders coming up. What's really interesting now is when they're getting their train organised with 2 kilometres to go, they've still got 5 riders there in front of Greipel.
Yeah, this is, you notice Hansen's on the front here. He's already been on the front for 500 metres, probably a little bit earlier than they would have liked, but he's so strong, and what he does is bring the Lotto train into one line and set them up so the other guys can do their job.
That's right.
He has to go as far as he possibly can now before Seaberg takes over. Maintaining
that speed, absolutely. And what we can see now with just over 1.5k to go is the Argos train now coming up on the right-hand side. Great shot here as Hansen pulls off, of Seaberg kind of just looking over, seeing where they are.
Yeah, well, that's how cool and calm they are, and in control, because Hansen then did a kilometre on the front. They're doing 60k an hour here, and Seaberg was just looking behind, waiting for another team, saw Argos coming, and now he starts.
And what I think is interesting is it reminds us that it's not just about facilitating your sprinter, it's also about checking where the other team is and kind of obstructing them. So what we saw there not clearly was dangerous for both of the riders. But, you know, Kittel really had to bridge around Henderson, get in front of Cavendish, and then get himself off and around Greipel's wheel. You can see there the frustration of Cavendish just shaking his head, and, you know, and Sagan did well to get 4th. So it was a fantastic result for Kittel and Argos Shimano as a team.
Lamprey Guy did well to drive over a wheel there too. Yeah. Amazing bike handling by most of the guys.
And we actually saw back in the footage there that Goss's front wheel hits Kittel's side wheel, and he holds it up, which is great skill by Goss. Another bit of bad luck really for him.
What's the deal? He was not in the mix again, essentially.
Yeah,
he was until the bike flew across in front of him.
Yeah, completely unpredictable.
Fair enough. So does he take the honours for the next handful of days and say, I've won more than all your other hotshots?
Yeah, look, I think the thing that I find with sprinters, male and female, is that they usually attribute a poor result to a whole lot of other people's failings. They say someone got in my way, or it was a problem, and these are the reasons why I didn't win. So I'm sure these boys will still just, it's another day, I can win again.
Yeah, these guys got massive chips on their shoulder, but he's the fastest in this year's tour, hands down. He's like there to beat Greipel started to bog down the last 50, and that if they crashed at 65, that was a 70k an hour sprint. They were maxed out, and they're all riding 53 or 54.11. It's a big gear.
And what I like, when we saw Cohen de Court being interviewed, him saying, we decided to change the strategy. So they're still thinking about ways in which they needed to be faster.
All right, great stuff. I love how you guys see these things differently. Excellent dissection, Doc.